It's too many fire videos. I should do something different. Today I want to talk about water again. I want to talk about getting fresh water from salt water. So right now I'm next to a brackish bay. Brackish being a place where salt water and fresh water meet, creating slightly less salty water, but it's still salty, still not safe to drink, still not hydrating. How do you fix that? How do you get something drinkable out of it? Using a solar still. The materials for this are pretty simple, and you can make one with trash you might even find on a beach. But today, I'm gonna use my little pot here. I'm gonna use some plastic painter's drop cloth that I've cut out, and I'm gonna use a shovel. But obviously, you can dig with your bare hands too. So first step is digging a hole. And the main thing you're trying to do is dig to the water level. And you want to get a decently deep amount of water, maybe 6 inches or so. So here's our hole. As you can see, it's full of water. Pretty deep layer of it too. Now, I wanted to make sure I counted for the tide going out, because right now we're near high tide and it's going to keep getting lower for a while. So when the water level goes lower, so will the water in the hole. So this hole's pretty deep, can account for that just fine. Here's the actual still part. Got some sticks here, and I am going to try and make a sort of table for my little pot to rest on by sticking these in as little cross beams. See, is that sturdy enough? Haha, no it is not. Alright, so I have made myself a little table and it is roughly centered. High tide here was about almost an hour ago, but it's still pretty high, so the water level in here is still pretty high. I got my little container here fairly centered. You can do this with plastic wrap. It's just a little trickier because there are shorter or thinner pieces, so you either have to make a much smaller one or be careful about how you lay it out, which is why I've gone for a drop cloth. So I'm going to lay this out first as flat as I can with the wind blowing it here and there. Weigh it down with some sand. So I can tell this is already working because I'm already starting to see condensation build up on the surface of this underneath. Because what's actually happening is the fresh water in this brackish water is evaporating. It condenses on this plastic, and then once it condenses into droplets, I can get those droplets to fall into my container by having the lowest point be directly above my container. So I've placed a slightly heavy rock here, just heavy enough to weigh the whole thing down. As the moisture condenses, it will slowly drip down and drip into my container. At least that's the theory. This is the setup. I'm here. I have extracted the drop cloth I had over here. Make sure that you don't have any scraps of plastic left on the beach. Hopefully that goes without saying. And I've checked on my still after several hours. And you know what? I didn't do a great job. I made the plastic a little bit too tight so that the lowest point didn't offer enough of a slope for the water to drip down from. So I didn't get a lot of water in here. I got actually quite a bit of condensation on my drop cloth, but I didn't get much water in here. It's really just maybe half a mouthful in there. It is not much, but it is clean and it is drinkable. And it just tastes like really clear water. So it does work, as long as you don't mess it up the way I did. Real quick, I'm gonna show you how loosely you should set it up to not make the same mistake that I made. So as you can see, there's quite a bit more slope in how I set it up this time. So when the water condenses, it'll actually roll down. And that was just a mistake of something that I wasn't really thinking through. But it still works, and now I know to keep that in mind next time. And more importantly, now you know to keep it in mind next time. That is how you set up a solar still, and also how you can mess up a solar still.